Yo, welcome to another edition of Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. Um, I just thought I would jump on here, just kind of check in. I haven't been
Edition of
on.
Buck What You Heard.
It's
My
just
name is
been,
Gene.
just been kind of chilling. Wait until a regular season, wait until camp starts before I really, kind of dive into this. Because, guys, I'm going to be very honest with you. I've always been upfront about how I feel about this team and how I feel this team is doing and that kind of thing. But I haven't dove into it to say, oh, really, rarely even what's going on. Longtime listener, rarely even. Good to see you. How have you been? Let me know your thoughts on where the Bucs are right now this offseason. I really want to hear from you. Oh, Rex Dillon, what's happening, my friend? TC Baby One, what's going on? Guys, I'm sorry. It's just been hit and miss trying to get on here. As we get closer to the season, I promise you I will be back on a regular schedule, getting in here and chatting with you guys. Really, I just don't know what to expect from this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. When you look at Ndamukong Suh coming in, I know a lot of people aren't happy with that move, and they would rather have Joe McCoy. I think you got two guys like that. I like that you have that intensity with a Vita Vea in there as well. Rex Dillon says overpaid for Sue. I think you got to get somebody in there to fill that void for a Gerald McCoy. I think it'll be just fine. It's a 1-year rental. I think the Bucs look in the draft and in next year and do something to fill that void. And it's gonna be interesting to see how they do. And that's interesting. Ndamukong Suh and Levante David were teammates in college at Nebraska. So that's awesome. But guys, I like the move. I personally like the move. The numbers were close. William Rankins, what's happening? I personally like the move. Like I told you guys a few podcasts ago, I said if Gerald McCoy stays and he gives his team the best chance to win, I'm good with it. At the end of the day, guys, I'm all about wins and losses. I want this team to win games and get into the playoffs. I'm sick of not going to the playoffs. I think a lot of the things that we've been seeing in with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you can equate that to losses and not going to the playoffs, especially with the fan base. So I want this team to win. The fans deserve it. The fans are long overdue, and we'll see. That's an interesting question. I saw somebody posted something about that on Twitter. If Sue will wear 93. Again, guys, I just want this team to win. I want this team to turn it around and start winning games and change the culture because the fans deserve it. Season ticket holders in general deserve it. We've been supporting this team religiously, win or loss, and it's just time for this team to turn it around. I think you've got the right coaches. I think you've got a competent coaching staff compared to what you had in years before. And again, this is one of those things. I'm not going to sit out here and badmouth coaches or general managers, but you look at the body of work that Dirk Cutter had, you look at the body of work that Mike Smith had, it speaks for itself. What you have with Jason Light remains to be seen. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens with a Jason Light. So I'm good with it. Rarely even, yeah. Jason Light, rarely even. Bruce Arians calling out Vernon Hargraves. I like that. Vernon Hargraves came to play, and that's a good sign that he got it. He's holding guys accountable, and hey, you got to go out there and play. You got to go out there and earn your way. You just ain't gonna waltz in here, and just not play it. I think that's what this team has needed for a long, long time, but with a degree of finesse, a la Bruce Arians, because when I look back at what Greg Schiano tried to do here, it just didn't work. But I do feel like you've got this head coach in here, and I think he will definitely lead this team a different way. As far as I don't know, as far as players go, I was good with Joe McCoy being here. Joe McCoy is Joe McCoy. Joe McCoy is not Warren Sapp, and I think that's what bit him in the ass while he was here is the comparisons to Warren Sapp, the comparisons to what the Bucs had done before, and it just never came to fruition. But at the end of the day, when you look at when you look at Joe McCoy year in year out, Joe McCoy is Joe McCoy, and he is who he is, and that's what we had. Uh, yeah, he's not Sue. I get that, and he is Gerald McCoy. So all I'm saying in this instance here is that's what you get out of Gerald McCoy is what you get out of this guy, and I think you're looking at a totally different player in Ndamukong Suh who will go out there and stomp on a quarterback and and just go back into the line or whatever, and then you had the you have the comparison is just it's totally different. It's polar. They're polar opposites of each other, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what you have there. You've brought in a Ryan Jensen last year, who's a nasty dude, and he will get up in a player's face. He'll play a little bit past the whistle, and that you've got a player like that on the offensive line, and then you're bringing in an Ndamukong Suh on the defensive side of the line. I really hope it brings some semblance of nastiness to this team. I just him and Jensen will fight in camp. I'm good with that as long as they can get out there and set aside their differences and get out there and make some plays and win some games. That's what it all comes down to. Yeah. So, you know what? Gerald McCoy was good for the community. Gerald McCoy was good for the kids and Tampa is my heart. Tampa will always be my heart, no matter what. And the fact that he was able to give back to the community and do what he was able to do for the Tampa Bay community, I love that. And he's going to be definitely going to be missed. As far as being a Bucs fan, I want to see wins. And I think if you got somebody like a Ndamukong Suh that's nasty and will get in there and do what he has to do, that's what I'm looking for. So, again, I'm really excited to see what this defense is going to look like. I think they will definitely be a lot more I want to say dangerous, but I'm thinking this defense will definitely be different than what we've seen last year. Yeah, I don't think he's had as many incidents with the Rams. No, he didn't, but he's still a pretty regressive player. So I'm good. Again, I'm good with the move. I think the Bucs did the right thing. You did what you had to do, and I'm happy to have Bruce Arians in here, and we'll just see what happens. I've been missing football, and I'm just I'm over it, man. I'm ready for football to start next week, and it's gonna be great. So just getting to see players out there. So I want to ask the listeners out there, what are your thoughts on Bruce Arians? Do you think that he can help a Jameis Winston to turn things around and put this team on his shoulder and really lead this team? I'm not sure. I personally hope that is the case, but I'm just not sure. So okay, so Ndamukong Suh wanted to play for Todd Bowles. Hey, that's always helpful when you have something like that in there. As long as they're able to sign all their draft picks and whatever moves they need to make, they're able to make those moves. Jameis has got to be willing to listen. William, I will say this, just based on everything that I've read and everything that I've heard, I don't really believe that Dirk Cutter was 100% behind Jameis Winston to begin with. I know that wasn't his idea, the ideal pick. He wanted Marcus Mariota and his frailness to come in and be the quarterback here in Tampa. And again, I just don't think that he was all in. I think that I really believe that Bruce Arians having support for Jameis Winston will put him in the best position to succeed, and he will not be afraid to talk to him and hold him accountable if that happens to be the case. But guys, this is that season right here, and I know the schedule is against us, and so to speak, but I think there are some games the Bucs can win. I really do. People forget how well Jameis played in the last 5 games of the year. If he just plays like that with the better defense, he'll be fine. It's interesting you say this, and I'm going to go back to 2012 because this is where I first noticed it. The Bucs defenses since 2012, we can go back to 2009, have not been able to sustain leads. If you have a quarterback, it doesn't matter if it's Josh Freeman, if it's Mike Glennon, if it's McCown, if it's Jameis Winston. There have been times where the Bucs have had leads going into the fourth quarter, and the Buccaneers defense can't hold that lead. And I'm not saying this just to be saying it, but I want you guys to look it up. If you don't believe me, you don't have to believe me. But the defense has been a liability for a while, and something needs to change. And you're talking about the O-line. You're absolutely right. The O-line has not been consistent for a long time. But at the end of the day, when you have an offense that can go out there and score a touchdown and get you a lead, it's up to the defense to go out there and do their job and hold that lead and possibly get the ball back for the offense to either run the clock out or possibly score again. So I guess so many times, and thank you, XCLU Garvey, thank you so much. That's exactly what I'm saying. The defense has just not been able to hold on to a lead after a quarter. And I know there have been games, and we can go back to Josh Freeman. There have been games where Josh Freeman goes out in the fourth quarter, gets a touchdown, gets a lead, and the defense can't hold the lead. Mike Glennon, I've seen games where he's gone out there and he may not have played the best, but he's gone out there and they've etched out a field goal or a lead or something like that, and defense can't hold the lead. And that's just what's been happening. And, you're right. The run game has been very suspect for a long time, rarely even. You're absolutely right. I like Peyton Barber. I'm good with Peyton Barber. Buck the World 2.0. What's going on, my friend? I know you guys will probably disagree with me. I felt like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did not commit to the run last year. They did not put the running backs in a position to where they could succeed. And I felt like this experimentation with the offensive line, playing guys out of their normal, natural positions and putting them in another position is a recipe for failure. And that's kind of what we saw. And I like the idea of a offensive lineman playing in his natural position. Example, Ali Marpet. Ali Marpet should have always been the right guard. Right guards are like gold in the NFL. You cannot find rock solid right guards. It's very hard to do. You got a player like Ali Marpet who's just a hybrid. He could play in a lot of different positions. You want to put him at his absolute strength and get the most out of him. So I believe that, again, just like XLU Garvey is saying, there's a lot of talent on this team. There is a lot of talent on this team. I just don't feel like it was utilized correctly. And this is some of those things that really a good coaching staff can go and look at film, find weaknesses, find things that need to be worked on, and fine tune this stuff and make it work. So, again, I feel like, this team, they've got a lot of nice pieces on this team, and they just need to get pointed in the right direction. And it's not about coaching them up. It's about teaching players and directing them. This is why you need to do this, to help them understand why they're doing what they're doing. So we'll just kind of have to see what happens. But I believe that this Buccaneers team will be better than a lot of people are giving the Bucs credit for. Let me go down here. Let me go back in the chat because you guys make this podcast work. Sue will have a ton of one-on-ones because of the blitzing schemes. It's going to be nasty. And these linebackers that the Bucs have and have at their disposal, I think they're going to surprise a lot of people, and you're going to see some people that you were wondering why they were picked up in the offseason, and you're going to get to see why they have been brought in. So I'm excited. I really hope that this all works out. William Rankins, the offensive line has been trash. Yeah, they have been. So many games were lost because the D couldn't hold the lead. Yeah, you're right. Rarely even haven't had a good run game for a few years either. Yeah, going back to 2015, I think Doug Martin was the last. I think he was ranked number 2 in the NFL rushing that year. And after that, the Bucs have just been either injuries or just a suspect running scheme. So, to be very honest, I just, looking at his body of work, Dirk Cutter did not really commit to the run. And when he did commit to the run, it was just at inopportune times. So I don't know. I'm not a coach. I can just kind of look and tell you what I see. Uh, Justin Ballas, what's going on? They say Rojo is looking good too. I think that he just needs those opportunities. And the fact that the Bucs are going to have two camps running simultaneously where all players are going to get reps, I think that's ingenious. And if it works out, if it's successful, I expect to see a lot more teams doing that kind of thing. Winning covers a multitude of sins. Trust me on that. XLU Garvey, the coaches will turn the roster into a playoff team. I could see that happening. And rarely even. Ronald Jones was hit at or behind the line 13 out of 23 carries. And of the other 10 carries that he wasn't, it made him gun shy. And you could see that in the way he ran the ball. So, that's just going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out. Ali, the only good lineman we've got, we'll see. We'll see how this all works out. We'll see how the scheme plays out. Again, there are so many different scenarios that went on last year to where you kind of have to sit back and say, was that coaching or was that talent? And I think you're really going to get a good idea of what this Bucs team really is when we get started in camp and kind of working through. And Ndamukong Suh, I think it was 10 million, I believe, for the year. I'll have to go back and verify that, but I believe it was 10 million. XLU Garvey, we drafted talent, just didn't put him in a position to make key plays. That's what I was thinking too. Devin White is really interesting. You talk about Devin White. I was just on a podcast with the Carolina Panthers, Carolina Cat Chronicles, just a few minutes ago. And one of the guys was really high on our pick. And he went on to say that Devin White will be better. He went on record saying that Devin White will be better than Quan Alexander. So it's gonna, just hearing that kind of thing and, talking about coverage and all the different things that were going on with the linebacker core. This makes me happy. I'm super excited about just hearing stuff like that. After Logan Mankins, the line hasn't been the same. He ran a great offense. He was an offensive coordinator, played to everyone's strengths. Yes, a new practice will allow younger players to get reps. That's what's important right there. Getting these younger players reps, getting some of these guys visibility so you can really see who you have. This is what I'm going to say, guys. Mike Smith, Dirk Cutter, those guys are gone. You've got a new set of coaches. I'm calling for a do-over here, and let's see what they can do to put these guys in a position to succeed. Donovan Smith, I really don't believe Donovan Smith is as bad as a lot of people say he is. I just don't believe that he was coached up like he should have been. So I'm gonna hold all judgment on him, and let's see what he does in the practice field and in camp and in the preseason. Let's see what he does. Let's see here. Lane Johnston, what's going on? Mike Smith obliterated the team's morale. You know what? I totally got to agree with that. Jeremy St. John's. I haven't been on social media since they cut Gerald. Now we have Sue. Man, this off season's been so crazy, but in a good way, except JPP. I think you got some players like Carl Nassib, and you got players like Noah Spence, and there are some new linebackers, the new cornerbacks. There are some players out there that I really feel that you're going to have some players that are going to emerge that you really wouldn't have thought about in the offseason. So I'm taking the approach. I'm just going to kind of sit back and let's see what happens. Let's see how everything progresses before before I pass any kind of final judgment on that. Because I can tell you what, um, this team, this team is going to be better than a lot of people give them credit for, and that's what I'm hoping for. No, I think JPP. I think JPP will try to come back about October, November, I believe, because he decided not to go through with that surgery. Buccaneer Bruce, what's going on, man? Email country, really, dude? You totally ruined that whole. I was excited to see you until you came up with that stuff, dude. Really? But anyway, no, glad to see you, man. Regardless of that, glad to see you anyway. Love our secondary this year, man. You know what? What's going to be really interesting is iron sharpens iron. Antoine Cates, what's going on? I really believe that your secondary players are going to be playing harder and harder and harder. When you get to play against Mike Evans, when you get to play against my favorite Jayhawk, Rock Chalk. You make valid points though. The big question is safety. Tampa needs to add a veteran, not Chris Conte. I believe Chris Conte's gone, isn't he? I thought he was already gone. William, my suggestion, and please you don't have to listen to me. Let's watch this camp. I really believe that I believe there's talent on this team that really didn't get the opportunity to play because of players like Brent Grimes that didn't have any damn business on the field, but he was out on the field anyway. And just players like that is what really that frustrates me. Antoine Cates, is this a make it or break it year for Jameis? Absolutely. I really believe that Jameis Winston is going to be fine. I really do. I would be shocked if he wasn't. And I think that, going against some of these ball hawks is going to make him better. Going against guys like a Devin White, going against some of these cornerbacks that will pick the ball off. And, again, on the other side of the ball, some of these cornerbacks going up against guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I think is just going to make the team better. I think a secondary and linebacker, I think the Bucs are fine. It remains to be seen, but I think there's enough talent to where you win collectively as a team. And I'm going to go back to what I've said, and I've been saying this since the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl. If we went back right now to this time last year, this very moment last year, how many guys would have picked the New England Patriots to win the Super Bowl with the team they put together? And this is what I'm saying. This is the reason I'm saying this. They won as a team, collectively as a team. Offense did their job. Defense did their job. Sometimes the offense was off and the defense stepped up and vice versa. But they won as a team. They won in the trenches. They won both offensive line and defensive line. They won in the trenches. And that is what it's going to take for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go out there, especially with this long six-game stretch. It's just what it's going to be. But yeah, I realize that New England's always in the hunt. I get that. But if you looked at the talent on that team, you cannot sit here and tell me with the talent on that team outside of Tom Brady that the New England Patriots are front runners to win the Super Bowl. You couldn't tell me that realistically. I understand they're always in the hunt, and this is true because of the weak-ass division they're in. But at the end of the day, for them to do what they did with the squad that they have and beat the teams that they beat, it just tells me that this team went out there and it was a team effort. And I feel like that's what we're missing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You either get the offense showing out one week or the defense showing out one week, or the offensive defense not showing up one week, and that's kind of what you get. So we'll see. I think Blaine Gabbert is your backup QB. This is a win now approach that they're supposed to be taking, and I would think that you would want a Blaine Gabbert in there over a Ryan Griffin if Jameis Winston goes down. You want that experience. You want that actually field tested quarterback in place that's ready to go in and just being familiar. If Gerald McCoy goes to New England, I'm putting holes in his jersey. I was saying the same thing about Dallas or Atlanta. If he goes to Dallas or Atlanta, I ain't rooting for Joe McCoy at all. At all. He went from bad to worse, in my opinion. So, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing Chris Godwin this year. I am too. I know Chris Godwin dropped a lot of balls last year, but I know that he knows that as well as we do, and I really expect him to do a lot more this year to be better. Gerald better not go to the goddamn Saints. You know what? I hope for his mentality, for his mental state. I hope for his psyche that he doesn't go to the Saints, because he thought the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans were bad and ruthless. I'm here to tell you right now that New Orleans fan base, if they go after somebody, they're going to put somebody in therapy. And Gerald McCoy, Gerald McCoy reads all the tweets. He reads all that stuff on social media. He's the Kevin Durant of the NFL. And I'm telling you right now, if he gets if he starts reading this stuff, and he will respond, and it'll just go from bad to worse. But again, at the end of the day, I hope he doesn't go to the Saints, but if he does, whatever. Let's see. Lightning film: Suh, Vea, Barrett, NASA, White, David, Spence. Yeah, Levante David playing next to Devin White. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett is a name that, Lightning Films, you're one of the first people that I've really listened to or read about that's mentioning Shaq Barrett. So he's a guy to look out for. Definitely a guy to look out for. Carl Nassib, man, I'm just dying to see what his contract is going to look like next year. It's definitely going to be crazy. Guys, the good thing about next year, the Bucs won't be in that bad of salary cap situation next year, 2020. It'll be really interesting to see what they do with that money and how they improve this team. Suh will never be the person Gerald is, but I think he has more good football left in him. Jeremy St. John's. I like them both. And only because, I don't know, the quarterbacks that Suh stepped on, I really don't care for anyways, whatever. But I don't wish injury. I don't want injury, and I don't wish injury on any player. But at the end of the day, the Bucs don't have that nastiness. When was the last time the Bucs have had that kind of a nasty player that's not going to help a quarterback up? He may pancake his ass, but he's not going to help him up. That's what the Bucs need on that defensive line. I love Vita Vea. I love his motor. I think learning things from Ndamukong Suh is only going to make him better. So I'm just looking forward to all of it. Again, rarely even. I'm with you right here. This is one guy, Noah Spence. I have not given up on Noah Spence, and I really hope that this is a guy that can, because we have a different coaching staff, I really hope that this is a guy that can come in and give you some minutes and make some plays. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. Let me I'm going to hit you up with this link. Hold on one second here. While we're talking, Justin, the cap, for some reason, I can't think of what it was, but the cap was real crazy this year, and there was relief next year. But I'm gonna put this link in here in just a moment here as soon as I can grab this. But it's not gonna be like, I mean, because this is the worst I've seen the salary cap in a long time. But yeah, sports track. Yeah. And let's see for 2020. Yeah, hold on one second. Let me look at this here. Yeah, cap. So their dead cap money is not bad. Yep. And this is true early even. Yeah, let me see here. Publish roster. Jameis Winston. Let's see. Cap tracker. So 2020. I'm pulling up 2020 right now. Let me take a look here. Yeah, 2020, the Bucs are gonna be like at cap space 46 million. Hold on one second. Let me let me send you this here. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be very honest with you here. Rarely even I like Byron Leftwich. I really like Byron Leftwich. I feel like he's gonna be a good offensive coordinator. I thought he was a great play caller with the Arizona Cardinals when they got rid of the offensive coordinator in the middle of the season. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that all plays out. Let's see. The Bucs would be at 46-20. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, how they work this cap. But just based on right now where they're showing the Bucs would be at like what number 9 or something like that. And then let's see, 2021. But again, we don't even know if Jameis is going to be that dude next year. So I don't know what they're going to do. Jameis has the ball out, and we'll see what happens with that draft. So I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see what happens. But that's just kind of what what I was seeing here. But anyway, just kind of getting back to this. I know, guys, and I do want to apologize. I'm definitely going to do better about getting on here more often. It's just been this off season because I don't have a real indicator on what this team is going to do. It's just going to be interesting to see what they end up doing. Yeah, back when he was on the team, I never think in a million years that Leftwich would be our offensive coordinator. You know what? I'm right there with you, bro. But I think he's got a good mind for the game. I think that, I like him. Another offensive coordinator that I really like, and I really would have hoped the Bucs would have, given him a little bit more of a look, was Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is you'll see a lot more from him with Kansas City, but I was really hoping to see a whole lot more from him, especially where our running backs are. And I think that he would have definitely been huge. Watch out for Alex Kappa, offensive lineman dude is nasty. We'll have to see. Again, a lot of these players, I'm giving everybody a do-over right now because of the coaching that the Bucs had. And I think somebody mentioned it earlier, how, just, some of the things that they saw. The offensive line coach was atrocious, and he has no business in the NFL just based on just how bad he is, and he did nothing to improve this offensive line. So um, again, just like I'm saying, I believe that you know this team, they're going to get a do-over. Let's see what they do and see how they kind of proceed from there. But again, guys, thank you so much for taking time to hang in here with me and talk a little bit of football and discuss what's going on. It's been a lot of fun. But right now, I really don't, that's kind of all I really wanted to talk about was what's going on. And like I told you guys before, and I'm going to be 100% with you guys. It's not about who's on this team. It's about wins and losses. It's about getting to the playoffs. It's about this team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, winning the NFC South Championship. These are things that are possible, definitely possible. And with the right coaching, this is a team that's going to surprise a lot of teams this upcoming season. I just don't see a team out there right now that is going to go out there and 100% dominate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are in every game, all 16 games this season. And there are games, those are games of theirs to win. So I'm just going to sit back, watch this. I have a special guest that I'm really working on getting on here tomorrow, and I think you guys will really be excited about this. She was the original co-host with me when I first started, and she's kind of gone out and done her own thing, gone out and got a degree and got her master's and had a kid and all this other good stuff. But I'm really working on getting Princess Nikki back on here. I haven't had her on for a long time, but I was talking with her yesterday. I was talking with her today, and we're trying to get her on and kind of get her thoughts. I mean, she was original co-host of Buck What You Heard, and always been a friend, always a friend of the show. And I definitely want to get her on. You'll really appreciate, what she has to say. High football IQ. And, I miss having her on there and, talking sports. So it'll be really exciting to have her on tomorrow. And I'll try to get her and Pless on tomorrow too. It should be an amazing show. So, guys, that's pretty much it for me. I know it's only been like 37 minutes, but I just wanted to get out here because, and again, apologize to you, the listeners, that I haven't been on here more often than I should be. But, as we get closer to the season, I'm definitely going to be on here more. And, again, it's one of those things. Shout out to AEW Wrestling, man, because that's all or nothing. It's definitely coming up. I'm really looking forward to that. Double or Nothing is the name of the show on Saturday. Tomorrow, try to get Princess Nikki and Michael Pless on, talk more football, get a little bit more in depth, get a little crazy. You guys in the chat, as usual, the chat this is the wheels of the Buck What You Heard. You guys make it happen. You guys make it move. And yeah, definitely. Rarely Even. Yeah, I'm going to get Princess Nikki on here tomorrow. And we'll definitely try to get her on here a little bit more often. We've been missing each other. So, that's a rare treat to get her on, man. Carlos Burgos, what's going on? Yes, Ndamukong Suh is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. What do you think about Scotty Miller? Justin, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Scotty Miller. Here's a guy that I'm hoping that when he gets these opportunities, which again, the camps, the way they have the camp set up, Bruce Arians has the camp set up, guys are going to get more exposure. And all he's got to do is go out there and play his game. And, he can put himself in a position to succeed. So I'm looking forward to that. I really am. I really am. So Eric Hardnett, what's going on? Justin Ballas, again, this kid is blazing fast. Yeah. Guys, this is going to be an interesting season, as I mentioned. So, you can't put any judgment on anything right now. Let's just sit back and see what happens. But anyway, that's pretty much it for me. Look for me tomorrow, and this will be on. I will be on probably. Um, it'll be about 10 p.m. Eastern, like we normally do, and we'll just kind of go from there. But anyway, that's pretty much it for me. You guys, as usual, are awesome, and you are always appreciated. And if you get in the chat, uh, I want to try to get back to getting some of the listeners on with me, because again, that's what makes a podcast great to me, is you guys getting the opportunity to get your voice heard, because that doesn't happen enough. You can listen to the radio, you can listen to ESPN or some of the other stations, and people talk about stuff that, it's stupid. And you're like, man, I wish I could say something to respond to that. And, that's why I would like to give you guys that opportunity, hey, get on here and, say what you got to say. But anyway, that's pretty much it for me right now, guys. And check us out tomorrow. Princess Nikki will be on, and we will be talking Bucs football, Michael Pless, and we'll make this work. But anyway, that's pretty much it for me. I'm out. Peace.